Okay, thanks, Joanne.
Lisa, we can still give it a couple minutes if you want.
Okay, great, Alex, thank you.
It's only been like 2 minutes, so.
Okay, we'll give people a chance.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Another quick update. We have 16 attending. We have Joe Lubisher with his hand raised. Should I allow him to talk?
We haven't started the meeting yet, Dee.
He
Okay.
might have something to do with the link. But
Or he could be raising his hand because he wants to do public comment at the beginning.
I don't know. Okay.
Hi, I was having trouble getting in on Zoom. This is Nancy. And I'm designated driver for a birthday party going on in a bar simultaneously. So I'm gonna stay muted most of the time. It's a nice place. I may have to leave a bit early, so if there's something on the agenda that needs a quorum and we don't have one, let me know or whatever. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Nancy. We have 6 of 8 members attending, so even without you, we'd still have a quorum.
Okay. I fly out in the morning, so this was good. It was today.
So someone says they can see the meeting, but no video or mic. I'm not sure who just sent me that.
Well, we can all hear each other, correct? Y'all can hear me?
Yes. If they're an attendee, they're not going to have video or mic options unless they get promoted to a panelist.
They're not gonna have video?
Yeah, they'll be able to see everyone, but they're not going to have their own video.
Okay. That's good that you said that, so people heard that. Okay.
All right, Lisa, I think it's been about 6 minutes since we said we would give it some time. We've got 14 attendees plus the panelists. So if you're ready, I think we can begin.
Start. Okay. Good evening. Thank you for participating in our monthly meeting of the Kitsap County Parks Advisory Board. This meeting is being held remotely via Zoom. Before we begin, here are some guidelines and general instructions for the meeting. Please silence your other communication devices, such as your cell phone or desk phone. This will ensure that we are not hearing any feedback or causing interruption during the meeting. Members of the public attending on Zoom, well, except for the board members and county staff, will be placed on mute by the host. The chair will announce opportunities for public comment, which are included on the meeting agenda. Please adhere to the speaker time limit. Okay, for people on Zoom, if you'd like to make a comment, please click the raise hand feature to signal that you would like to comment during the public comment period. You will be unmuted. Please announce your name before speaking. For those calling in using a phone line only who wish to comment, dial 9 on your keypad to signal that you would like to comment. Please announce your name before speaking. Okay, that's it. So, welcome and introductions. I'm Lisa Hurt. I'm North End Park Advisory Board.
John Pearson.
recently, oh, sorry, go ahead, John.
I said John Pearson, Central District.
Joanne Clark, recently retired park chair.
Larry Walker, South Kitsap.
Nancy Whitaker, Central Kitsap.
Amy Smalley, South Kitsap.
Linda Berry Mare, North Kitsap.
And from staff, I'm Alex Wisniewski, Parks Director. Alex Hardy, you want to go? And then
Yeah.
pass it to somebody?
I'm Alex Hardy. I'm the marketing and event supervisor. And I'll go Brian.
Thank you, Alex. I'm Brian Hoschel, Parks Maintenance and Operations Supervisor.
I'm Chuck Cazzetto. I'm the Public Relations and Communications Coordinator for Kitsap County Parks Department.
I'm Irene Weber, Natural Resource Program Supervisor.
Great. We have one more with us, but he has an official introduction that we'll get to in a little bit. So.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, everyone. So we'll move on to our adoption of the meeting minutes from November. And now's the time to do that. And I did notice one that I'd like to point out. Under Carol Price's comment, there's a part that says why park stewards aren't members of the Park Advisory Board, and my name is on there as a park steward. I am not a park steward. So I'd like that corrected. Is there any other corrections to be noted? Do we have a, well, I move then to to adopt the minutes for November. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, John. Okay, we'll move into our public comment period. There's a 3-minute limit per person. And I can't see any hands, so somebody else is going to have to call on comment people.
Yes, first on the list, we have Legacy Forest Defense Coalition, and I'm allowing them to talk.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. My name is Joshua Wright. I work with the Legacy Forest Defense Coalition. And I want to talk today about an issue that I think Kitsap County Parks could play a role in. So in November, the Board of Commissioners in Kitsap County sent a letter to the Department of Natural Resources requesting that they pause upcoming timber harvests of older and structurally complex forests on DNR managed lands in Kitsap County. They requested this pause so that the county could work with the DNR to protect these mature forests. And my public comment today is in concern to 4 separate parcels of trust land owned by the DNR that Kitsap County Parks could play a key role in protecting. So these 4 parcels are not contiguous with any other DNR lands, and they're all located in the riparian zone of Big Beef Creek. Big Beef Creek, as I'm sure you know, is one of Kitsap County's most important watersheds. It's home to a reserve managed by the Hood Canal Salmon Center. And it's Hood Canal, Summer Chum, and Steelhead are both that live in that creek are both listed under the Endangered Species Act. The Hood Canal Salmon Center owns the estuary of the creek, and the Department of Fish and Wildlife manages dozens of parcels across the watershed for conservation. DNR parcels on Big Beef Creek total about 110 acres, including about a half mile of frontage on Big Beef Creek. And protecting them would fill in the gaps basically between the network of parcels protected by those other organizations. So these 4 parcels are currently being managed to produce revenue for Kitsap County in the State Forest Board Transfer Trust, which is managed by DNR. And that type of trust allows the county to reconvey those properties. And basically DNR would give those properties to the county for free to be managed as natural areas. And I would like to ask that Kitsap County Parks consider the possibility of reconveying these 4 parcels. That, for the record, their numbers are 6278, 6277, 6276, and 6288 in DNR's parcel system. These parcels are not currently accessible by road, so would involve very little management by Kitsap County Parks if managed for conservation. And these areas would help achieve the 30 by 30 target. Reconveying these parcels, most importantly of all, would protect about 20 acres of structurally complex 120-year-old forests. And those are the forests that, some of the forests that the commissioners have been concerned about protecting, and wrote a letter asking DNR to delay a timber sale that would log some of those forests. So if these forests were reconveyed to Kitsap County, some of them would be protected, and that would also allow DNR to continue with the timber harvests of younger forests that they have planned, and it would free up that SIP timber sale to go ahead. So I know that was a lot. I'm happy to answer any questions. My email is joshua@wlfdc.org. Thanks.
Thank you, Joshua. Next.
All right, next we have Sam Huff, and I'm allowing him to talk. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, Brad, can you hear me?
Yep.
Maybe. Can you hear me good?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm Sam Huff. I'm a representative of the West Sound Disc Golf Association. We are a disc golf advocacy group in the area. Most of you guys already know about us, but yeah, I just wanted a little year in review, what we've done, and kind of the popularity of the sport in the area. So we're here is we volunteered about 300 hours of time working on the fairgrounds course this last year, anywhere from storm debris cleanup, trail brushing, repairing, replacing equipment, and just updating the signs and trash collection. With that, so kind of due to the popularity of the course, there's a UDisc app that we use, helps track player scores and just movement in general. So here's some of your fun facts for you. So the disc golf course at the fairgrounds had approximately 25,000 rounds of golf played at this last year. So that's how popular sport's getting. It's about a 280% increase from the previous year. Perspective, Nad Park, which is the other main course in the area in Bremerton, it had almost 40,000 rounds of golf played on it. So it's pretty much, we got people there 7 days a week. Fairgrounds had about 4,100 unique players. Then in November alone, that's estimated players walked by 3,000 miles on the park. So we're getting our steps in. And with all that activity on the park, it's estimated about 2,000 hours of golf on the property, which has been great to deter vandalism and homeless encampments. So having park users there every 7 days a week really helps. So with that, I'm going to remind you guys too, we are looking at adding additional disc golf courses in the Kitsap County. And one of the areas that we're actively looking at is Square Lake, and which is already designated as specialized with the park planner right now. So later this year, we'll be getting with you more and trying to see if we can't get another disc golf course installed in the area. So that's all I got for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Next.
And next we have Beverly Parsons, and Beverly, I'm allowing you to talk.
Okay, thank you. I'm Beverly Parsons from Hansville. I had 4 comments I wanted to make. The first is regarding the PROS plan. In the director's report, it says that a third and final survey is targeted for late January, early February of 2024. However, it's not clear when the PROS plan is to be submitted and if and when there will be a public hearing about the plan itself, not just giving input through a survey. And in regard to that, I see on the PAB's 2023 work plan that you wanted it completed by March 2024, but that was part of the 2023 work plan. So I'm wondering if you have revised that date. How will you get adequate public comment on the plan as a whole while you're still collecting survey data? Also, will you be holding a public hearing on the plan, such as being done by the Planning Commission on the critical area ordinance and the comp plan before they go to the Board of Commissioners? Then my second one regards another issue on the 2023 work plan. It talks about reviewing the Port Gamble and Coulter Creek framework recommendations to be reviewed as part of the updated PROS plan. I couldn't figure out where this is fitting in the process. Third, the director's report also says that widespread community engagement is paramount to a successful PROS plan. It says that community segments currently underrepresented are youth and differently abled people, so that the staff is trying to close that gap with them. However, it says nothing about community segments that represent, say, BIPOC communities, low-income communities, and communities with different access to technology and capabilities to respond to the survey as conducted. So I'm trying to understand where you're getting input from those communities. And then my final one is on a somewhat different topic. How does the public have a voice in making recommendations for membership on the PAB and on the length of terms of PAB members? Who determines if a person can be reappointed versus giving new people an opportunity to serve on the PAB? Also, what about racial representation on the PAB? Just from the screen, it looks to me like the membership is pretty much all white, and there are not really youth, some young people, but not real youth on the advisory board. So I'm hoping that you could provide more information regarding these aspects of the Park Advisory Board. Thank you.
Thank you, Beverly.
And next we have Carol Price. And Carol, I'm allowing you to talk.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the Friends of Newberry Hill Heritage Park, the group, for their letter supporting beaver legislation that's Senate Bill 5846 that was sent to our state legislators. This legislation will provide management and funding for beaver refuges. Hopefully, Kitsap County will not be trapping and euthanizing any more beavers or any more wild animals for that matter. Point number 2, at the last Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park Stewards meeting, I proposed that the north end of Alders Trail not be decommissioned. Have it be a pedestrian-only trail that would be an in and out trail. You would enter from 1700 and turn around at the wetland area where it's very wet, the area with the birch tree. This trail is secluded and peaceful and would be a welcome destination for walkers. Myself and other walkers would volunteer to adopt Alders if it's saved. And last question. Finally, I'm wondering what a dirt camp is and how it will affect the rest of us who are at the park. And I'm talking about Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park. Thanks.
Thank you, Carol.
And that is all the public comment hands that are raised.
We do have one comment in the Q&A, D, from Marion Allen.
You want me to read that? Or
I can go ahead and read it if you'd like. It says, I'm Marion Allen. This is not the first time this has been brought up, but I'm bringing this up again because I was talking to a number of folks who volunteer in different parks and would like to figure out a way to communicate with each other. In the Forest Steward course at the parks, I was able to go on field trips and see some of the amazing projects being done by volunteers, but otherwise it's really hard to know what is being done. Sierra implemented the volunteer newsletter, and that is nice, but it would be good to have a time of year for presentations or field trips and restoration groups to educate each other. It's sort of like the park employees. It's sort of like the park employees that certainly get together and share that knowledge. Oh, so I don't want to insinuate, but they understand that. And since volunteers are considered an arm of the county parks, the same should go for us. So please consider this.
thank you, Chuck. And it shows two, were those both of the, yeah, okay, got it. Excellent. Okay. So we will move on to special presentations and reports. We have our staff introduction. We have Kevin Cedar.
Go ahead, Irene.
Hi, everybody. I know it seems like just yesterday that I was being introduced as the new staff member, but I'm excited to update you all that we have yet another member of the natural resource team. Many of you know Arno Bergstrom, who was the former county forester. When Arno retired last summer, his position was split into two positions. One of those is myself as the natural resource coordinator, and the other one is a forester position, which is now being filled by Kevin Cedar. He started on January 8th, so he is pretty fresh in his position. But Kevin, if you want to say a few words about yourself and your background, we're excited to have him, and excited for you all to meet him in person when we have running water back at the Eagle's Nest.
All right, thanks, Irene. Yeah, I'm Kevin Cedar, originally from Gig Harbor. Grew up down there on little island called Raft Island, and decided to be working here in Kitsap County back on the west side of the Sound. A little bit about my background in natural resources and forestry. Started out after high school in timber industry, logging, mechanic, truck driver, rural labor work. And after a few years that decided to head off to college and proceed to get a bachelor's and master's in forestry, and part of a PhD as well from the University of Washington. So following the bachelor's in forest management, master's in silviculture, so the art and science of growing stands of trees, like restoring the forest here on the parks. I worked as a research scientist at the university for about 10 years before the PhD. And during that time as a research scientist, looked a lot at forest management and how that impacts different outputs from the forest, wildlife habitat, carbon sequestration, timber volume, fire risk, forest health, whole suite of things, impacts on riparian zones and aquatics. And then after starting a PhD, and a job found me before I could finish off the dissertation. Always thought I'd get back to it. Never, families and life gets in the way. And so I just kind of continued on in the consulting world. Spent just over 10 years as a forester and a fisheries consulting firm. So very heavily focused on riparian issues and riparian forest management, as well as other restoration work, and work for clients ranging from small landowners to state governments, the U.S. Forest Service. For the past 4 years, I worked as independent forestry consultant. Primary client was the U.S. Forest Service, and I worked on several forest restoration projects up in Northeast Washington. For those projects, worked as a silviculturist on the team. So look at large landscapes, determine what are the forest health issues that need to be dealt with, how are these forests departed from desired conditions from the forest plan, and then delineate areas for treatment and design the treatments to move those forests and put them on trajectory growing towards desired conditions. This can be changing species composition, changing tree sizes, all about taking and leaving the correct trees to get stands going the right direction. Actually, my background is an example of one of the projects I worked on over there at Kettle Falls. This used to be a very dense forest, and after the wrote the description, loggers came in, did some cutting. I had 2 years of growth here, and all the understory veg came back really nicely after they had burned the unit as well. So anyway, met Arno, was it last spring when I heard he's retiring, got connected through my my forestry network, and got an introduction to the program he put together here at Kitsap County Parks. And looks like a great program. It's some very interesting restoration work to do to take these forests or set up the industrial forest and increase the diversity in tree sizes and increase wildlife habitats on these forests. So I'm very excited to be here working with you all on these Kitsap County forests, and looking forward to getting the opportunity to meet you all out in the woods sometime, I hope.
Thank you, Kevin. It's great to have you aboard. You sound like you'll be a good addition. Excellent.
Yeah, thanks. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So we have the 2023 events year in review.
All right, give me 1 second here so I can share my screen. All right, just want to make sure, can everyone see the graphic? Okay, wonderful. So again, my name's Alex Hardy. I'm the marketing and events supervisor for the Parks Department. In my position, I oversee the community building rentals, athletic field rentals, fairground and event center rentals, special park events, and picnic shelter rentals. So in 2023, those rentals combined for 3,179 total number of event days. So really great year. And something I should touch on too is this is the first year. So 2023 is the first year we have a full set or a full year of data on since 2019 when we lost our software system. So really excited to have this information available and to be able to review these numbers. So my team, we have 8 dedicated full-time employees and 2 dedicated seasonal staff to support these events. So that's everything from interest, open houses, site tours, helping book the events, doing contracts or agreements with them, fire permits. So start to finish. My maintenance staff on the backside, they are doing all the setup for events, tear down, custodial support. So a small team to cover over 3,000 event days in 1 year. So very grateful for the support and support from the parks maintenance staff too when we're unable to accommodate all of our rentals. So moving on to our community building reservation days. I'm going to start here with Island Lake. We had 224 event days in 2023. So we're pretty much at capacity at our Island Lake facility. We only have weekend or weekdays available. The Eagle's Nest, we're at 159 event days. This one's a little bit lower as we use the Eagle's Nest when the water's working for our parks conference room and meetings. So it does limit the number of rentals we can do in that facility, but we're still booked out on weekends. And then Long Lake, you can see it's at 120. So now with this data, we're able to see that we need to put some work into Long Lake. So we will be doing some facility improvements here in 2024 and marketing to really try to get those numbers up closer to the Island Lake numbers. I'll move down now to our athletic fields. So this first one here is in the usage in hours. So starting at Gordon Field 1 and then Gordon 2, Anderson Hill 1 and 2, and then Veterans Memorial Field. So the top 5 numbers here, those are all soccer fields. So our 5 most popular fields are all soccer fields and have a lot of usage. With that, one thing to keep in mind, we do have 17 fields total, and 11 of those 17 fields are soccer fields. The Gordon Field 1 is also the synthetic turf field with lights. So that is why the usage is that much higher on it, as it's playable year round until later in the evening, when all of our other fields that are grass without lights, during the winter, our fields without lights, you can't play on them past 4, which doesn't really work because school doesn't get out early enough. And then the grass makes it very difficult. We often end up having to close the fields because of how wet they are. And if we did allow any usage, it would just ruin them. And then the next one I'll show here is our athletic field usage by region. So you'll notice in the north end, we do not have any athletic fields. So that is one area that we will want to look at fixing here in coming years. The central area, we have the most usage. And then the south end, we have the 1,000, just over 1,000 hours in use there. What I find to be very interesting about those two regions is in the south end, we have 11 fields compared to the central region, which only has 6 fields. However, of the 6 fields in the central region, 3 of those have lights, and one of them is Gordon 1, which is playable year round. So that is why you're going to see the increased usage for the central area. In the south end, all the fields are grass and none of them have lights. And then just to touch on our usage by sport here, soccer is our biggest field user at 80.4%. But again, we also have 11 soccer fields. Baseball is our next biggest use at 17.6%. And then 2% is like lacrosse, flag football. So we really primarily cater to the baseball and soccer user groups. So the next graphic here on top is our special park events. So these are events that happen in our park. You can see that Port Gamble here is at 26. And one thing to note about the usage there is when I did the breakdown for Port Gamble on the type of events, 4 of those were runs in the park. 16 of those were youth or kids camps. 4 of those events were in the ride park, and then 4 were mountain bike races outside of the ride park. But the primary use was education or youth camps in that park. So in the central region, Silverdale Waterfront Park is our highest used park. That supports Whaling Days. It supports the Silverdale Summer Concert Series. So a lot of community events. And then in South Kitsap, we have South Kitsap Regional Park with 9 events. And again, similar to kind of Silverdale Waterfront Park, mainly community supported events. With the skate park there, we do get some skate park events too. And then I'm going to skip on down here to our picnic shelter reservations. So with this, you can really start to see a pattern with our picnic shelter rentals, and the parks that have lakefront or waterfront property are our most desirable picnic shelter locations. And so this will help us as we make plans and move forward with our parks of where we potentially could add additional picnic shelters in the coming years. And then I'll move down to our fairgrounds and event center. When you look at this, one thing to point out is with our pavilion and President's Hall, those are both in at 118 days for the year, which means we are completely booked out on every weekend throughout the year in our 2 largest buildings at the fairgrounds. which is really exciting. The reason then, if you look over here at the cat barn, dog barn, and sheep barn, these buildings have a higher usage than our larger buildings as they get used during the week by the WSU 4-H program for education and youth activities. We also have roller derby who rents out our barns for practice. And we also have a medieval fair group who uses it to practice jousting during the winter months. And then the final graphic I'll touch on here will be our new events versus historical events. So this is focusing on the pavilion and President's Hall primarily. So historical events, those are the events we get returning year to year. So they fall, those events that come in on the same weekend, year after year with us, we consider those historical events. And so what I found to be very interesting is that we have, we're pretty close. So historical events are 53.6% of our business, where new events are 46.4%. And the new events, those are going to be our like weddings, parties, private family gatherings, those events that don't happen year after year. However, we do have some new events this year that we're hoping to make historical events soon. And then lastly, with this data, my team and I, we've developed some goals for our 2024 events program. One of our big ones is we want to update our event policies, update our fee structure for our park events. We also want to create new revenue opportunities through using this data that we have now to have a more focused marketing plan. Also, we are going to be doing pipe and drape services, which is something we have contracted out historically. The other part of this is we want to update our equipment. So we're looking at purchasing new pipe and drape for 2024. And then lastly, we want to improve our customer service through surveys and open houses. So I'm going to stop sharing here and see if anyone has any questions on the information I just presented.
Looks like Linda has a question.
Alex, I was wondering is I know in the past, the Parks Department was able to get some seed funding through the Public Facilities District to build new tournaments using the fairgrounds and also North Kitsap, the field at North Kitsap. Do you still get things like the indoor volleyball tournaments that bring in a lot of regional groups kind of in the off season?
Not so much volleyball. I know that was a group we have had historically. I believe the coach in the area had relocated or moved, so we kind of lost touch with that organization. But we do host a wrestling tournament every December. This coming weekend, we have a gymnastics tournament where we get people from all over the state coming to participate. So not volleyball, but we are still getting athletic event requests.
And do you get a lot of weekday practice use in the pavilion?
We do not, and that's actually one issue we have is with the size of the pavilion and the large events on the weekend, it is too much for a team of 4 workers to be able to clean and turn the building over and have it set up for practices and then get it set up for the next large event moving in on the weekend. Because usually events, they end on Sunday and it takes Monday or Tuesday for them to move out. And then the next group starts loading in on Thursday. So we really only have like one full day to clean and turn the building over.
So there's not a whole lot of weekday local kids athletic use after school in the nasty weather like we've been having.
Correct, yeah.
Thanks.
Larry?
Actually, it's not really a question. Just wanted to point out to you, Alex, that at one of the pros plan open houses, South Kitsap Girls Softball Association was looking to possibly do some operations in the park. So you might want to reach out to them.
Will do. Thank you, Larry.
Amy?
Hi, I don't actually have a question. I just have a comment. I just want to say great work. I love the infographics. And as a parent with kids on the board who utilize, do a lot of sports and utilize these park venues, it's something I think a lot of people don't think about necessarily. I think people think about parks as, you know, somewhere you go and walk along the trails, but we don't always think about the other services that parks provides for our families. So it was really cool to see this presentation and be reminded of all of the whole other side of parks that's going on. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah, I'll second Amy's comment.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Great presentation.
I put my hand up. Alex, I wanted to thank you for all the work. I know when you first started, things were a lot different, and you have brought this up really high. I'm so proud of what you guys have accomplished. Even with all the changes and the losses and all of that, you've maintained and stayed with us, and I appreciate all your work because that was a great presentation and a much better use of our facilities. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey. Okay. And more comments or questions, so we will move on to position elections. The nominating subcommittee.
I guess that's me. I got railroaded on that one too. Anyway, so we have had several meetings by phone. It's the easiest way to do it anymore, especially in this type of weather. And so the nominating committee has 2 names to put before the board, and then we'll accept further nominations from the board after that. So for president or chairperson of the board for the next year, we are suggesting Larry Walker, and for vice chair, we are again suggesting Lisa Hurt. And both of them have agreed to take these positions. So I would entertain any nominations from the floor. And before you make a nomination of somebody, you really have to have their permission. So do I hear any nominations? Not hearing any nominations, I would move that we vote on the 2 people that have been nominated by the committee. And could we have a unanimous vote of this? So moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor? That looks like it's a unanimous vote. So Larry, you are the president for the next year. Lisa, you are the vice chair for the next year. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. The first official thing I'm going to do as the new chair is, as you can hear my voice, I'm going to ask my vice chair to please continue chairing this meeting because I don't have that much voice left for the day.
Thank you, Larry. I was wondering what was going on with that voice of yours.
Way too much time out, in and out of the cold, way too much time down in Olympia, talking with everybody I can get a handhold on and everything, and then throw in sinuses. And hi, I'm a frog.
Okay, no worries. Congratulations. So we have no subcommittee reports. And we'll move on to our district representative reports, which would be old business.
Lisa, we got a few items before that.
Oh, we do. Okay, go ahead.
Item 6 is the PAB work plan. I provided in the packet a copy of the 2023 work plan and wanted to start
Oh.
a conversation about an update to this for 2024. And there were two high priority or tier one goals on here. One was the pros plan that was participate in the update of the department's park recreation and open space plan. Goal number, and that one obviously is still continuing. The targeted time frame for this one was completion in March of 24. We will be asking for an extension with RCO to April of 2024. But nonetheless, we're still completing the project this year. And so because of that, at least from a staff's perception, I would recommend that this one stay on as a 2024 goal. The Parks Code is to review and provide recommendations to proposed updates to the department's park code. This one still has not had any movement and really is going to be initiated at the staff level. And we now know that our legal team in the Kitsap County is going to provide a big assist with this. And they're going to begin or kind of lead the review, the investigation of what other park jurisdictions have in terms of park code, and start to gather that information for staff as well as Parks Advisory Board review. So more to come on that. I'm still getting clarification from the prosecutor's office that this is on their work plan for 2024, as they have previously indicated. So my hope is that's the case, and this one will stay there because our Parks Code's way outdated from 1971, I think. And then in the tier 2 or the moderate priority, there were 3 additional goals on here. One was an update to the events policy. This is review and provide recommendations to proposed updates to events policy. We had hoped to complete this in 2023. Alex and her team did a ton of work on it, but we will bring it across the finish line in 2024. So this one is another move the finish line forward a little bit. We did have a Parks Advisory Board bylaws update that we have been asked, I think all the advisory boards asked to review and provide recommendations to the county leadership on this behalf. This kind of syncs up with the Parks Code comment, just to make sure everything is all aligned. And the last one is community and youth engagement. And this would be to develop opportunities and partnerships to increase use and engagement in Kitsap County parks. So I'll stop talking in a minute, but I just wanted to do a quick review of the current work plan, or not current, but the 2023 work plan, and let the board kind of engage in a conversation about 2024. Do these items stay there? Do any of them fall off? Are there new items to add? And I will take notes as you are chatting. And with that, Lisa, I'll hand it over to you and the board to talk about.
Thank you. After hearing Beverly Parsons' comments, I'd like to make a motion that PAB holds a public hearing on the draft pros plan. I don't think we can assume that public input to various surveys are adequate, and I think people need to see the whole plan in order to give input.
There will be a public hearing for it. It is not appropriate for the Parks Advisory Board to do that, nor do you have the authority. That will come from the county commissioners.
Oh, just to have a, okay.
Part of the review and approval process, it will have an official public hearing.
the open house, which would be just to see the plan draft before it gets finished?
Yes, there will, yes, it is not drafted yet, so there's nothing to review at this time. But that will be forthcoming. You will have an opportunity as Parks Advisory Board as well as the public to review and provide comments to that. That will dictate another round of another draft version that will then move forward towards a public hearing and commissioner consideration.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
We are, just a quick update, we're working with Chuck and I just had a meeting with Chris from SCJ Alliance today. He is going to get us an updated timeline that shows basically the back half of the process here that we're currently in. And that will have the timeline segments for review for the public, for staff, for the Parks Advisory Board, for the public hearing. All of that will be part of it. RCO reviews it as well.
Thank you. Any other comments from anyone else? I have another question then. Has the parks considered developing a monitoring plan yet to validate whether the park is being successful or not in meeting the PROS plan's mandate for protecting wildlife? I think I mentioned before about monitoring metrics, because how do we know what we're doing with how do we know how things are even panning out if we don't really know where we began or what wildlife exists, what plants exist? I guess it would be plants and wildlife. I know Irene's doing a bang up job with the plants right now, but we don't really have a monitoring situation going on with wildlife, I don't think.
It's a good comment. We don't have an inventory of vegetation in our parks, nor do we have data or information collected on wildlife and other habitat. Is that part of a work plan item you're suggesting for the Parks Advisory Board?
I would love to make it a suggestion, yes. Or I thought, is that going to be included in the PROS plan?
It will, I don't know. I haven't seen a draft of it yet. But if it was in the 2018 PROS plan in the goals and objectives section, it will carry forward into the updated version.
I don't think it was, so I guess.
Okay.
Is that something to make a motion, or how would you go about doing that?
I would say,
Lisa, wouldn't that impact and require a lot of staff time, or what are you, it feels like we have such an uphill battle in kind of getting the new staff up and letting them get on their feet and all. It's been such a struggle. That sounds like a pretty time intensive idea of monitoring all our parks for wildlife.
If I could interject, fully agreed, Linda, but I do think it is appropriate to and would fit in line with the goals and objectives section in the PROS plan. So I would suggest this type of, comment to come forth as when we're gathering those the data and feedback and we're doing the review part of the PROS plan. The PROS plan is going to indicate goals and objectives for the betterment of the Parks Department as it relates to the needs and the desires of the community across a wide variety of spectrum items. Not all of these are intended to get done in the immediate future. We, do what we can with the resources and staffing that we have. But I would say that would be appropriate for inclusion.
Thank you, Alex. I know it just seems so important for our open spaces, and I know that that's where the animals are going right now. I know on my farm here, I've got animals crossing through all the time, and I live right by the park. So it just seems like something we need to do. So Joanne?
I just have a question. We have so many people using our parks, different ones, different groups, different, if we had some place for them to send photos of what park they're in and what animal they saw. People take beautiful pictures if they see squirrels or birds or different sea life, deer, bear, cougar, whatever they see in a park. If there was some place they could just shoot the picture to share, and then that kind of would document there was an animal on this day there and they've shared it. So it would be an easy way for people that hike and bike and ride horses or just enjoy the parks to participate in documentation. And there's a lot of people using the park, so just
Thanks,
suggestion.
Joanne. I was just saying more of a scientific, yeah. So Irene, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say that, yeah, that's the need for wildlife monitoring and having those metrics that we can look at is definitely on my radar in the Natural Resource Department. Got some ideas on ways that we can get there. There's a lot of collaboration opportunities with other departments, Department of Fish and Wildlife, with researchers associated with various universities in order to collect some of this data and have it be manageable with the current staff that we have. So just want to say that yes, it's on our radar. We're working on it, and there's some exciting things in the works.
Is that BioBlitz maybe part of that, or would that be
Yeah,
included?
BioBlitzes are definitely a part of it. Shout out to Mary and Alan, who has been kind of spearheading that project right now. So BioBlitzes are a great part of getting that citizen science input with a lot of great experts as well as citizens getting involved. And so Joanne, there's a system called iNaturalist, which kind of collects that data. If someone sees something in the park, they can collect that information, and then that's publicly available, and we can process that and include that in our list.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Any other comments on any of these park code? So you don't want us to get specific, Alex, do you? Or just, I know there's a few things that I've heard mentioned about park code, about e-bikes in the park. I don't know what's gonna come about that, but is that what you're talking about here? You want to?
Yeah, so the Parks Advisory Board will play a role in the update of the Parks Code. And that will be to, review and provide input on whatever the proposed changes are, which we don't have right now. As use of e-bikes is going to needs to be called out in the park code. So that is an update item that is currently missing because e-bikes didn't exist when the park code was written. So yes, that is an example of something that will be looked at when the parks code is updated.
Excellent. Okay. Still waiting for other comments from anybody? Nothing? Crickets. Okay. Shall we move on then?
Well, if there are no proposed changes, would the Parks Advisory Board entertain keeping the same work plan for 2024? And if so, it would be great if you would vote on it.
So moved.
I was gonna, are we going to move to adopt? So moved. I second that motion then. All in favor?
Aye.
Looks good.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay, so let's make sure I'm on track here. So Parks report. That's from you, Alex.
Yeah, give me just one moment, please. Okay, in the director's report provided in your packet, I'm going to touch on a couple items in here. So you have some, just kind of highlight some of the specific projects. One of that has we have spent a lot of staff time on recently is the beach and shoreline restoration project at Point No Point. As you'll recall from past parks or directors reports, this was rolled out in two different phases. In December, we largely completed phase one of the repair project. This was solely focused on the North Beach on Kitsap County Parks property. There's a portion of the North Beach and of the peninsula that is still owned by the U.S. Coast Guard. We were not granted permission by the Coast Guard to do work on their property, so we only focused on ours. The work included bringing the beach, importing sand and rock material into the North Beach. This was the beach that was scoured out by the king tides in 2022, coupled with the low pressure system and the high wind waves. We brought material in to refill the beach, build it back up to pre-storm elevations. And that was as much as we were allowed to do in phase 1 under the current permitting. We are proposing a phase 2, which will do a variety of other things. It will take the North Beach to a higher level of elevation. It will add a secondary shore dune near the entrance road to provide kind of dual level protection of sand dunes. It will add vegetation to that North Beach to help stabilize the soils. It will rebuild the rock revetment wall on Coast Guard property in front of the lighthouse, and it will do repair work to the parking lot where we have had some collapses, as well as repair work to the eastern beach where we had overtopping there as well, and to build that back up. The phase 2, because it is more than just repair work back to pre-storm conditions, requires a higher level of review and permitting from a variety of different regulatory agencies. And we started the review process with them in 2023, and we are continuing that work currently, targeting the update or the phase 2 work for summer of 2024. So long as we can get the permits all in place. But currently, since the work is the phase 1, there's one remaining task in phase 1 before I can say it's completely closed out. There is a sand fence that needs to be installed, and the contractor is waiting on the sand fence materials to arrive. Then they'll do the install. But aside from that, the importing of the material and the grading of it has been put in place. And so far, knock on all things wood, so good. With the high king tides that we've experienced this month so far, we've not had any overtopping on that North Beach. We have come right up to the tippy top of it, but we've not seen any overtopping. So good stuff there. The parking lots, the Stottlemyre Trailhead and parking lot. This is at Port Gamble Forest Heritage Park at the southern tip of the park. We are finalizing the contract with the construction contractor. This is Marwood Construction Services. On Monday, will get signed by the county commissioners. We have a site visit with them scheduled, a pre-construction meeting, at which time we will discuss timeline for construction of the Stottlemyre parking lot. And at next month, I'll be able to report back on what that timeline is. I don't have that information currently, but it is anticipated to take place in the next couple months here. So pretty quick. Moving on, a couple items of note under our maintenance and operations program. One is on your list and one is not. The first one that is on your list is listed under Long Lake Park, and just drawing attention to the fact that over the last month, we have had a string of vandalism and break-ins to the building there. Some of the vandalism was getting inside, kicking in a door, letting off fire extinguishers inside. We've had broken windows there. We've had spray paint and tagging around the exterior. all in multiple occurrences. And so not just because of this, but because of this type of incident, along with other ones, we are currently working with the risk management department and our information services or IT department to acquire and install security cameras and those security, both permanently installed as well as remote security systems that you see in some of the parking lots and businesses around town, where it's a small little trailer unit that gets set up and then an arm gets extended and has cameras to be deployed in different areas. We are working on acquisition of some of these new pieces of equipment for us, and will be probably over the next year plus, I'd say, we're going to start to see these cameras get installed at facilities and park locations that unfortunately get hit with a lot of break-ins and vandalism. And some of this has been at the request coming from the sheriff's office, because we have problem areas at some of our parks that they would like to target with improved security as well. So the other item under maintenance and operations, which isn't on here because it literally just happened, are the impacts that our department received from the cold temperatures from the past weekend that we are still dealing with and likely will be dealing with repairs over the coming weeks. Most notably was the Eagle's Nest, where I'm at currently. We had a water line break right above Dee's office and inside the wall, and completely flooded out the upstairs bathroom, and it came through the ceiling into Dee's office, as well as Glenn's office and our supply closet there. And so that is an example of one item that happened that obviously impacted us here, impacted our collective ability to be upstairs in the meeting space, and impacting the workload of our maintenance and operations crews. In addition to this, we have 2 fire suppression systems in 2 of our barns at the fairgrounds. Those also had breaks and leaks in them due to water freezing in the pipes. Those are challenging facilities in that they are wet fire suppression systems in buildings that are not insulated, and at least they have heat in them, but because of the insulation, it cannot keep up with these drastic cold temperatures. So we will be exploring opportunities to fix that, knowing we have cold temperatures every single year, and we can't keep doing the same thing. The Van Z rental building at the fairgrounds the comment to me was that staff stopped counting the leaks when they hit 20. So we had, at least throughout the water supply system in the building, we have over 20 leaks that needs to be tended to. And the big challenge with these is that, especially the 2 barn buildings that are rentals for events, they all had to be canceled because we're not allowed to continue with events when the fire suppression systems are not functioning. And of course, the Van Z, we didn't have flowing water in there either due to the leaks. And so it's creates this kind of trickle down effect that it's not just, it's a maintenance item, but it is additional cost that is, unplanned for, and it has impacts kind of down the line to even the community who is looking forward to whatever events were happening in those buildings. We also had frozen water lines out at Wildcat. Our maintenance crews out at the shops there were without water for a couple days. Thankfully, those have not turned into water leaks. It seems like the water froze in the supply line. We also had this at Cola Cole Park in Kingston. For those who are familiar, we have a historic school building there that is rented out by a nonprofit school. They had to cancel school because the water system froze there as well. And so they had to cancel for a day. That one too has since thawed, thankfully. And as far as I'm aware, no leaks have popped up there. And we had leaks at one of our residential house units at Guillemot Cove. And we discovered a water leak at the pavilion today to one of the supply lines where it goes into the building. So just big time hats off to our maintenance crews, both on the maintenance side as well as on the events side of our house. We have maintenance staff on both sides, and their quick response to all of these incidents has really prevented them from being worse than what they could be. We are still getting around to our other parks and looking at our other bathrooms and facilities to make sure we didn't experience leaks there too, but just making you aware of some of the managing parks and our type of facilities. And one we have from our natural resources division, they provided, I'm going to share my screen, and this was included in your packet as well. This is, give me just a moment, please. Hang on, sorry. Technical challenges here. Okay. Okay. So Project Spotlight, coming from our natural resources crews, is work performed at Banner Forest Heritage Park. This is trail work done by Washington Trails Alliance. This is a longtime partner of the department, provide a high level of trail maintenance, trail construction expertise, as well as volunteers. As you can see in the photo here, we have some trail passages or trail corridors that, especially in the winter months, experience a lot of water challenges due to lack of drainage and retention of rainwater. And then we end up with trail grading through some of these locations where park users attempt to go around the water, and they end up widening the corridor and going, basically broadening the impact. To positively kind of correct the situation, the installation of these turnpikes, almost lost the word there, trail turnpikes, which is in some cases elevated by timbers, in some cases it's anchored by rocks, and then soils are brought in, and they're designed in a variety of different ways. Sometimes they allow drainage in swales that go through the trails. Sometimes they allow passage of water underneath them, but it basically allows for pedestrian use to pass through the areas without the need for tromping through water or creating those trail grades and really reducing the impact and footprint on the park, on the ecosystem, on the specific area where this is at. This is on the Banner Slough Trail in Banner Forest. And so just a big hats off to our staff, to Washington Trails Association, as well as the volunteers who participated in the project. And lastly, I was going to do a quick update on the pros plan, which I kind of touched on already. We did have a bit of a slowdown during the holidays. Staff, we took time off. Chris with SCJ and their staff took time off too. But as we kind of entered back into the early parts of January, things have ramped back up, and the kind of data analysis from the surveys and process, which will lead into the drafting of the various elements of the plan, which will then help inform the updating of the goals and objectives that will come out of that. As it got entered into from the 2018 Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan. There are, additional segments of the community that we continue to reach out to. We, continue to coordinate throughout, and we do have a third survey that is being formulated and will come out shortly. The third one is primarily focused on priorities for capital improvement projects, which will be just one segment of the ultimate pros plan. So that's kind of what I would provide with an update there. Again, unfortunately, I don't have an updated timeline. We are anticipating or projecting in our updated timeline the need to extend our due date with the Recreation and Conservation Office, which is pretty standard fare. It will still provide us with the opportunity to be eligible for the grant cycle, which is we have to have an updated pros plan in order to be eligible for those grants. Yeah, so good stuff. The extension will push us into April of 2024. And once I have the updated timeline, we will share that forward with you all.
Thank you, Alex.
And that's what I have. Thank you, Lisa.
Okay, it looks like we have no subcommittee reports this month. And we will be moving on to old business. Nobody have any old business to bring up?
I do. I just have a quick question. Alex, do you know if the stairs have been permitted for the far side of the bridge in Olalla?
No, that has not happened. The kiosk was been installed along with the life preservers in coordination with the owners of Al's Market, but we've not
Olalla Bay Market.
Olalla Bay Market, sorry.
So that hasn't been. Now, is that even have to do with the parks there?
It's kind of iffy because it does involve public works. It's on right of way. It involves access from the road, but it terminates or lands on park property at the bottom. So
okay, I just wanted to make sure if I was. So it's not permitted or anything yet. Do you know what stage it's at?
No, it basically got put on hold until we could get through the kiosk first. So
okay, and that looks very nice, by the way.
Yeah, now that that's done, we'll probably rectify the conversation about the stairs and see where we end up there.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Joanne. Linda?
I just wanted to mention the parks, the Port Gamble Park Stewards met in January 3rd, making some real progress with Irene's help on creating being able to build a new trail connection to the Stottlemyre parking, which, as Alex reported out, will be probably built in Q1. So it'd been a pretty high priority of the park stewards to be able to have a trail close to ready to go shortly after that parking lot is built so that we could connect that. And Irene Weber's been extremely helpful in working with DCD and getting some parameters. We had some volunteers go out and flag the trail, GPS it, and then Irene and Sierra walked it, and now Irene's got a crew from WTA that'll be hopefully be able to start constructing it. So that is really good news, and we appreciate the help on that. We also have had a follow-up meeting with Irene and Sierra, our leadership group. We have 3 co-chairs working on the work plan and trying to resolve some of the projects that we'll be moving forward with now. And again, really appreciative of the assistance in working through some of what had been kind of a lot of projects being put on hold because questions with DCD. We also had Evergreen Mountain Bike Alliance attend our January meeting. They had not been there for a while. They brought up concerns about the lack of the parking lot for the ride park. And many of the rest of us who aren't mountain bikers are also concerned about the delays on that parking lot construction because we have a lot of people driving through the park to get to some of the evergreen events up at the ride park. And I know it sounds like that ride park parking lot is now expected to be not to be constructed until 2025, which is I think is just a repercussion of not enough people to get projects done. But it is that's going to be a challenge because one of the things about the location of the ride park is that location up on the ridge was selected for more active recreation to get it into an area that's further away from the wetlands. And right now we have an overuse of human beings trying to access the parks from the Bayview parking lot. And there have been several weekends where both that parking lot was entirely full, the parking lot across the street was entirely full, and people were parking on the highway, which is just darn scary. So, that's going to be a bit of a challenge to manage until the new parking lot can come online and get people closer to where they're going and spread them out. I do think that we may want to look at some signage in the Bayview parking lot to encourage people to park in other trailhead parking areas instead of parking on the highway, which is just dangerous for all concerned. There's a work party this Saturday. There is a planting, I think the 27th, and then the next meeting is coming up here in February 8th. And that's all I have, except I did want to mention that I believe it was in October that Sierra arranged for a presentation for the Port Gamble stewards on wildlife. There was a group who had installed some wildlife cameras in a few locations through the park and had compiled some data, including some videos. And I wonder if the rest of the Parks Board might be interested in having that same presentation, is that, maybe those remote operated wildlife cameras could be part of the package if we're looking at trying to monitor wildlife. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Linda. It's great ideas. And thank you for the work you're doing out there. It's looking great.
Thanks.
Any more old business? Oh, we have John.
I just wanted to mention that we've had a lot of volunteer hours, or however they do it, with WTA over the years. And would it be a good idea? I think it'd be a good idea that the board write an official letter of thanks for the work that they've done and tell them that we hope that they keep on doing the good work. But that's a lot of hours they're putting in. And it seems as if, I don't know how large a group it is, they're spending a lot of time on Kitsap County.
Would you like to make a motion on that?
Okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sounds good. Looks like it passed. That motion carries. Thanks, John. Good idea. Larry?
Well, I was going to report about the goings on at Banner, but Alex stole all my thunder.
That looked great. Those yeah, those trails are looking good. Okay.
Hey,
Alex?
Lisa, if I could have one moment before we go into the public comment period at the end. When I'm going to talk about you, Joanne, so just be prepared. When Joanne submitted notice that she was not going to continue once her period ended at the end of December. That obviously was shared forward with the Rebecca Purtle, who manages our volunteer program for the entire county, broader than just our department. And it went to the commissioners. And Commissioner Garrido wants to most definitely express her appreciation for all the work that you've done. And from the commissioners, they provide a plaque for you in recognition of your time and service as a Parks Advisory Board for many, many, many years. And this has been sitting in my office for a couple months now, where I was absent in November, and then you know, we canceled in December. So we will have to get together so that I can get this to you. But let me read this. It says, presented to Joanne Clark in recognition and appreciation of her outstanding contributions and service on the Parks Advisory Board by the Kitsap County Board of Commissioners, December 2023. So just wanted to recognize Joanne.
Good job. You're muted, Joanne, but that's okay.
Okay, sorry, but it's been a fun 10 years. I really appreciate it. And I just, my family's gonna come first, and I have young grandkids all the way from 1 year now to 18, and they all live out of state. So I'm on the road too much now to get as involved as I'd like to still. So good luck to all of you, and I hope they find somebody who's young and enthusiastic.
Thank you, Joanne. Thank you for your time and service.
Thank you.
Yay.
I'm glad you're looking better, John.
Okay, we'll move on to any other old business.
Not old business, but one additional piece of information to tack on. And this actually may answer or does answer a question that came up earlier in the comment period. And that is, what is the process for new board members getting onto the Parks Advisory Board? And as all of you know who are here, there is an application process. The county pushes out a notice for accepting interest in applications to sit on the advisory boards, whether it's parks or any of the other ones where there happen to be vacancies. Those are taken in by Rebecca Purtle and managed through her office. And ultimately, the decisions for who gets to sit on the board is done by each of the county commissioners. So the Parks Advisory Board members are basically appointed by the commissioners. And then the commissioners also decide whether they, are allowed or want to move on and continue from term to term. So hope that helps. I mention that because we do have a vacancy. And so for all of you who are here, board members, as well as folks in the audience, if you're interested, please submit an application. Or if you know somebody who's interested, please ask them to submit an application as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. Okay. Any other old business? No. New business. I just had a quick question about the adoption of trail process. Is that an actual process or is that something just made up, or I just was curious how people adopt trails. Is that new?
Kinda. It's a program that we developed over the last year and a half, and have kind of very softly rolled out. There is an application process for becoming a trail.
Foster parent?
Yeah, foster parent, like it. But there is kind of an agreement that goes along with it. We do put recognition in the park, at the park of who has adopted it, and basically the group, the individual, the organization agrees to perform a certain amount of trail maintenance or picking up trash, or whatever is originally agreed upon as part of the scope of work for the adoption.
Great, thank you, Alex. Okay, I was just curious because it seems to be a thing now. Any other new business? No? Okay, we'll move on to our public comment period, 3 minute per person. And again, I cannot see who's raising their hand, so. I need
Yes,
help.
we have one hand raised and it is Joe Lubisher. And Joe, I am allowing you to talk.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Good evening. Is Alex Hardy still on or not?
I don't see her.
I'm
Oh,
here.
there she is. Yeah, there she is.
Okay, great. I have 3 questions for you, Alex. My name is Joe Lubisher, by the way. So first of all, can you get us a breakdown of age groups on the field use that metrics you had? And secondly, can you get me a copy of the recording of basically just your presentation? I'd like to share that with some people we're working with in North Kitsap. And thirdly, question of maintenance of fields has come up. So you didn't touch on that, but I think people would be interested in knowing, what the field conditions are.
Pre-event or?
Say again?
You're talking about pre-event, like field
No,
condition?
I'm talking about the condition of the athletic fields. Whether they're, excellent, mediocre, dire need of repair, whatever metrics you use.
Okay.
It might just be a list and, some kind of metric qualifier. But I think the age group is real important. And I think people would like to see your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Is that it for our comments?
That is all. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, nope. We just have a hand raised. Jebby, I'm allowing you to talk.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Okay.
Okay. My name's Jevlyn Terrell, and I'm the president of the South Kitsap Girls Softball Association and also the treasurer for the South Kitsap Soccer Club. And I just wanted to say thank you, and Alex Hardy, your presentation regarding 2023 was really great to see how the parks usage, it was great to see, especially for our athletic cause, for our youth athletics. And we were there in November, and we met Alex and Chuck and Larry, and voiced our concerns and what we would like to see in the future. And that was expressed through your presentation too, regarding the amount of daylight and field drainage. And it's just really great to hear that our voice didn't just disappear. And just excited to see and hear for what the pros plan draft will look like. So just wanted to say thank you and that we're still here and we're present and will continue to be. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jevy, for making your comment. Thank you. All right. So looks like that's it. Do we have a motion to finish our night?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All right. For the night. Good job,
Good night.
everyone. All
Hey,
right.
Real quick question. I had some problems joining as well. Who should I troubleshoot that with at the park staff, just so that I don't end up with an issue? I don't know if it was my computer or not.
No, everybody had an issue, Linda. It was horrible.
Okay.
John?
I got right
Looks
I
like
got right through. I didn't have any problem either. I just went on the Parks Board or on the Parks website, flip down the right-hand side and the bottom one says join the meeting, and that's all I had to do is click that, and that was 10 minutes before the hour.
John,
Yeah.
you
So
clicked
that-
it at the right time.
I must have.
We-
It was
we
about 10
did-
minutes to see, Brian was on there and Alex's name was on there and somebody else was on. I think
you
maybe.
got lucky. Go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say, we did have a link issue at the beginning, so my apologies for that. That we had to correct. Once we got it corrected, then everything worked. Linda, I know that you got bumped out at some point after you had originally logged in and then we're having problems getting back in. I don't know exactly what the cause of that was, because the link should have worked since it was, fixed previously, so I'm not certain.
Yeah, I tried to get in probably every different way I could after I got bumped, and it was asking me for a password.
Yep. Mine
And
too.
I don't know, but the first time I got in, no problem. That's why I thought maybe I should troubleshoot. And then I joined my phone because it seemed once it didn't like my computer, it was not going to let me back in via computer. So I resorted to the phone.
Well, yeah.
I have no explanation, and it's me, so it could certainly be operator error, but the first time was easy and then it was impossible. So.
Yeah, it's strange it didn't work the second time, but I do apologize for the snafu at the beginning. But glad that we were able to, fix it and have a meeting tonight. So unless we have another unforeseen issue, we will be back to hybrid format next month. You can join via Zoom or you can join in person upstairs in the Eagle's Nest. And we will have running water and working bathrooms and all sorts of stuff for anybody who wants to join us.
Snacks.
Great. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.